Welcome to Yap Sesh 9.7. Oh, that's the date.
Oh my gosh, we don't.
Wait, I don't want to be chewing when you're doing the intro. Hold on.
You gotta come closer to the mic. We gotta hear you, babe. Say it with your whole
Hold
chest.
on. I gotta show off my new finger.
Yeah, what is this?
Can you tell which
we'll
one?
Get to it.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm
I'm
confused.
done. I'm ready. Hello.
Welcome to the Sweet and Condensed podcast. This is Yap Sesh 9.7, where we are going to. Why are you looking at me like that?
Your voice
volume
went away.
down.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I rubbed this. Oh my god, it's so sensitive. La Vergas.
Welcome to the Sweet and Condensed podcast, a podcast by people who love movies, people, and the magic that lives where they meet.
Welcome to Yap Sesh
Sensitive.
9.7 of the Sweet and Condensed podcast. This is an episode where we don't have anything planned aside from telling you maybe what's coming to streaming, what Josh has been up to, what Kelly's been up to, what Eric's been up to. We will assume what Sarah and Drew have been up to for you all, even though they're not here. We invited them this time and they declined. So anyways, we'll get to it. We'll talk about what's coming up, recent newsletter shit, and then how Josh got high recently. So this is an episode of Shoot the Yap.
Shoot the app. I like that.
And we have a hard stop, and I feel like that's a good place to start because apparently you've been holding out, both of y'all, been holding out billions of dollars from everyone because y'all have a hard stop because I heard that y'all are going to a gala. Is that how you pronounce that? A gala?
A gala.
I'm in a different tax bracket where the correct pronunciation isn't made known to us. So maybe we can start there of the how, what, why. What is happening?
It's actually going to be I'm so excited. This one seems fun. Eric takes
This
us
one. How many
do
do
you
you
mean
go
by
to?
multiples. Probably one every month.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Well, no, I mean, I don't know. How many have we been to?
Quite a few. It's through work. It's not like I'm Bruce Wayne hosting a fundraiser for Harvey Dent, dude. It's like
casually going to the Met.
he says, one fundraiser with my pals. You'll never have to raise another cent. Sorry. That was a bad impression. Where's Drew when we need him?
Drew?
That's what we're gonna do when Sarah's not on the podcast and we need words because we say the same shit over and over again. We call out Sarah with the bat signal, and then when we need to like make fun of somebody, we call out Drew. Where's Drew with his impressions?
It's phone a friend. It's phone a friend. Mm-hmm.
Guys, I got drywall
yeah.
in my eye and my nose. I'm a mess. Take it away, babe. I'm gonna blow my nose again.
Okay, go blow your nose. Okay, so this gala is futuristic themed.
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's what Eric told me. He said it's futuristic themed and everyone goes all out for their costumes. So do you want to see what I bought, Eric and I?
1,000%.
Okay, hold on. I have to take these off.
I'm gonna throw up.
Wait, why?
I was taking a light fixture for my in-laws. 2 light fixtures, actually.
Okay.
And one of them was in the ceiling, so I was... Damn, I'm all over the place. Oh.
I was wondering, are you doing
Go
construction
sit down,
or
and then we'll put
something?
them up on the count of 3.
Okay, yeah.
Look at our dog. Oh, monkey, she's... Don't let her see you.
The racist dog.
These are our racist dogs. Okay, are you ready?
Okay. No. Yes. This is like probably going to be anticlimactic.
Oh,
They're
it's
not
super
that
anticlimactic.
cool.
Ready, go.
Future
Oh, it doesn't-
glasses.
It doesn't fit on
It doesn't even... Oh, my. Damn, yours are
Look
sick.
at how cool they are.
Hers are way cooler.
Wait, yours are cool too. I know.
mean,
Why
mine
are
are
mine so
fine.
much? Just like you can see you guys in it. Look.
Hers are
Wait.
giving like Blade Runner 2049. Yours are giving like...
My eyes just got dilated.
Men in Black.
But like the generic Men in Black.
Like the straight to DVD.
But we have to wear them like not on our eyes.
Oh, is that what
I
they
mean-
do in the future? Is that...
Yeah, in the future, that's really. Have you seen those glasses that are like they're not that expensive? That my mom showed them to me. They're $300, and they attach to your iPhone, and they have music right here, And then you can like pull up your text messages and all of your notifications on the sunglasses.
Sorry, you said what? It's not that what?
That's what I was hung up on. First, the
listen.
context is we're going to a gala, one of many, and then you say, "Oh, it's not that expensive. It's only $300."
$300? You know, it's not that expensive.
Okay, I would never spend that much money on them, but you would think like these like futuristic Back to the Future glasses would be more than $300.
Well, are they like smart glasses? What are these?
Yes, they're smart
Are they
glasses.
the Apple Pro Vision?
No, they're Ray-Bans. Actually, I don't know if that's true, but they have Ray-Ban style.
I was gonna say Ray-Bans alone, like just buy them lonesome, are like $300.
See, you have Ray-Bans.
Guys, I'm gonna be
You
honest. No, I
lost 3
don't.
Ray-Bans.
I lost 3 pair in the lake. I'm gonna keep these on the whole podcast, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, you should just bought the Ray-Ban Meta wafers. They're only $300. You're going to, you're gonna make a donation 10 times that tonight. So might as well have bought these.
No, see, we're the ghetto gala attenders. Like we show up for the free ship. Like
Ask us
pretend
if
like we're
we've
gonna
ever...
auction, like
Okay, never mind.
fix your
Take that out,
tie,
take
and then
that
just
out.
like glance at everything and then leave.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And so do you know what's on the menu for
Oh,
food?
that's a great question.
We don't.
Is it future food? Like you're eating Matrix?
No, it's
Slop.
astronaut, like pre-packed.
It's freeze-dried. What did you call it? Sun-dried? What did you call it, John?
Sun-dried tomatoes. No, it's freeze-dried. It's astronaut food. That's what freeze-dried
No,
food
but
is.
The candy.
You called it something funny when I was telling you about candy. You said, is it air fried?
Freezer burned.
Freezer burned. That's what you said. You said, is it freezer burned? And I said, no, it's normal. It's freeze-dried.
I don't remember.
Freezer isn't
burned.
normal though.
Anyways,
Freezer burned.
so you're eating freezer-dried burned tomatoes tonight for dinner.
Yes.
Okay.
To sum up, yes.
Let's be real with why we're the only reason we're even recording this podcast. Well, there's 2 reasons. One, Josh doesn't like Beetlejuice, which is
Whoa.
fighting words. Josh said Beetlejuice sucks. It's not a classic. Michael Keaton is ass. Winona Ryder deserves to kick rocks. So
Oh
he said that
gosh,
the other
you're
day,
making
and we're
him
like,
so uncomfortable.
we need to
He's
like
saying negative things, and he's dying right
Okay, so that's first thing. Second thing is
now.
Kelly hated Manchester by the Sea, and that's another thing we're going to talk about. And then third, she forced me at gunpoint. Actually, that's not a funny joke these days.
Oh my gosh.
She forced me to
That's
watch
early.
one of the worst movies we've seen in the last few years. I think
Okay,
it's called
that's-
Serenity. Babe, that was...
That's debatable.
So we're just talking about like each of us have been traumatized by different things. Josh by a classic. Boo-hoo. Sorry, Josh had to watch a funny movie. But that and then so because of those things happening, we're like, hey, we need to yap about this.
This is ridiculous. Okay, there's context here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm only going to start on Beetlejuice, not because I want to talk about it, but because you listed that first, and I need to add some context to this slander.
Please do.
We're
Do
waiting.
you like Beetlejuice? The first one. Did you all grow up on it? What is your relationship with Beetlejuice?
I mean, yeah, I watched it as a child, and then it's a good movie. I want to.
Eric, you watched this?
Eric
as a
had never
child
seen
too?
it.
No, I'd never seen it. Kelly introduced me to quite a few classics. Beetlejuice being one of them.
Beetlejuice, Clueless, et cetera, et cetera.
He's never watched Clueless.
It's
Oh my.
You know, Josh, this is random, but there are a lot of movies that he has not watched that he makes his take. And there was one time, I think it was the last podcast, where he was saying that he always watches them and then finishes them, and he would never do it in the take, but that is lies.
Name one.
I don't know what I'm literally gonna find it on your letterbox because I don't know what it was
Wait,
called.
hold on. I read something the other day that said gaslighters tend to say, give me an example in an argument, which is like manipulation. And I realized I just did that, and I do that all the time. So
Were you
anyways.
reading your diary?
What?
Wait, is that real?
It's real. It's like a manipulation tactic in an argument to be like, well, give me an example of what you mean. It's like a manipulation tactic by gaslighters.
Interesting.
that.
I would never do that. I never used to say name 7 times that I've ever done that all the time to people.
Wait, hold on. Why? Tell the people why you don't like Beetlejuice.
It's
Let's
not
get
that
started.
Yeah, we need to know.
It's not that I didn't like Beetlejuice. And we're talking about Beetlejuice, the first one, the 1988 one, which I didn't grow up watching it. Okay, one. Okay, so one, I didn't watch in my childhood. So I think that's very important because I feel like
Mm.
a lot of people, it's a cult classic. People really enjoyed it because they watched it as a child. And
Mhm.
I did not do that. And then also, two, it is a spooky season, I feel like classic as well. I feel like a lot of folks watch it to get prepared for October because apparently spooky season starts in September, which is absolutely asinine. Is that the right word? Spell check. That's not even the right word.
Sarah?
It's a dictionary check, not spell
Sarah?
check. But that is wild to me, one and or three or whatever number I'm on. And it is a vibe. I'll say that. Like the music's a vibe, the look is a vibe. It's very Halloweeny. It's super fun in that regard. It's kind of all over the place. And also, it's rated PG. And some things are just, it's like, how is this rated PG? And you
Like
get
like what?
he's like, what, 1,000 years old trying to marry a 16-year-old? That is a wild plot point.
So that's what Twilight's about.
And Twilight and Beetlejuice are the one and the same. The
But
same
you didn't mention
category.
this on Twilight.
Yeah, we did, I thought.
Is it because he's
Did
ugly?
you?
So if you're unfortunate looking, then you're not
Ooh,
allowed to.
Michael Keaton is the subject of what you're talking about. He's ugly
Yes, as Beetlejuice.
as Beetlejuice. I mean, to each their own, but also Robert Pattinson is still, I mean, he's frozen as a 17-year-old, so that's a little different. And two, did you read? Oh no, you haven't read it because you didn't want to ruin Beetlejuice newsletter. The newsletter, the intro talks about how Midnight Rising they're doing an animated series of some sort. And are you familiar, Kelly, with Midnight Rising?
Mm-mm.
I think it's called Midnight Rising. I'm going to double check myself. Midnight Sun, my bad, not Rising. They're developing an animated series, Midnight Sun. It's the original manuscript was from Edward's perspective and it got leaked. So she switched it to Bella's. I think also, I need to fact check that. So she originally wrote Twilight from Edward's perspective. And so they're adapting that into an animated series. But speaking of Twilight.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, more of Twilight content. I feel like
Is it
it's a good idea.
is it gonna be the same actors?
I don't think they're gonna voice that. I don't know if you've ever seen any of Robert Pattinson's like press, his interviews about Twilight. They degrade and do not speak highly of Twilight at all. Like he did not.
Really?
Oh, it's so
Which is
bad.
funny. He's a great voice actor. He's done some anime, and he's like really well received as a voice actor. As a side note, like not to go on a tangent.
Oh no, that's a good point because I will circle back to that doing new to streaming because there is a phenomenal role he played in a movie that is new to streaming this September in Max. But anyways, we'll come back to that because yes. So if it is the same people, I'd be pretty stoked. But I don't think Taylor Lautner does much work. Not that he wouldn't come back. Maybe I have no idea. But actually, I don't know much about the project. But
Interesting.
I'm
That's
stoked
very
for more
interesting.
Twilight content, I guess.
Hey, wait, really quick,
are
circling back
you?
to your comment about it being rated PG.
Oh yeah.
I rewatched Invasion of the Body Snatchers recently. It was like the 70s horror movie.
That is what I was talking about. When did you watch that? When did you watch that? Tell me.
You were at Hot Works. Are you kidding me? Listen.
I go to Hot Works at 5 a.m.
No,
you are not up at 5
this
a.m.
was like 2 weeks ago.
Ooh, the midnight. I remember. No, I still don't go to. I have not gone to Hot Works once in the evening. I can't even tell
Hold
you
on.
how long. I don't believe it.
This microphone.
Maybe I believe it.
Okay, wait. There was nudity, just straight up boobs, heads getting bashed in, blood and guts. It was PG in 1978. I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Anyways.
Yeah, I think the standards got pretty different. They've changed a lot.
Babe, how dare you
What
call
is
me
the
out?
definition?
That's crazy.
I like saw his favorite watch and I was like, he's fake. When?
Do you normally watch everything together?
I mean, no, but usually like I'll know if he's like watching a movie or something. And yes, we usually do. We usually do watch
like
most
there's
things.
a couple like After Sun, you fell asleep. You had no interest in, and I watched after you fell asleep.
I didn't hear anything you just said.
After Sun. I know that he said After Sun and you weren't interested in After Sun. You didn't want to watch After Sun, Kelly?
What in the world is that?
That was this
After
one.
Sun.
Hold on.
Oh jeez, this looks like Perks of a Wallflower movie. I will not be participating.
I was about to say it's Manchester by the Sea adjacent, but before we get into Manchester by the Sea, let me stop avoiding the question about Beetlejuice.
Just say it. Say what you said. I'm gonna say it for you if you don't say it.
What? What did I say? It being rapey?
You said it was rapey.
It is kind of. He's very
Kind
touchy.
of.
He forces himself on Gina Davis. He's always trying to kiss her. He's touching her. He's lifting up her dress. It's very it is very
I forgot about that.
awkward. Like it is a very like inappropriate what is going on kind of movie. But anyways, that whole Tim Burton world, what is happening, all that stuff. And so I watched Beetlejuice so I can prepare for Beetlejuice, which plug the newsletters, our scorecard, if you're a big fan. Here's the other thing. There's going to be no words or no content out there that is written, said, or made that's going to keep Beetlejuice fanatics from going to see this movie, which is great. And it's fine because I think people should go watch movies. And I'm just saying the Beetlejuice was an interesting watch, especially after watching the first one. But again, I've just gotten thrown into this world. I didn't grow up with this. And so it doesn't have a nostalgic feel. And this is no hate towards those who love it. And I'm just not that big of a Halloween person in general. So this is more of a personal thing, not that I
Not a
hated
rapey thing.
Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Well, I hated that part. I hated that aspect of it, obviously, but
And you said you have not watched A Clockwork Orange.
no.
Okay.
wait.
Okay.
Hold on.
I don't know how that ties in here.
Josh, you were like, oh, remember I made fun of you? I said, just because like a child was in peril, no one's condoning Beetlejuice's behavior.
Correct.
She gets saved in the end. It's like you watch The Shining and you're not like, go Jack, go.
Oh
Kill
no,
Danny.
I'm not saying. I'm not. That's not why I didn't. What am I saying here? I'm not saying that like it's like, oh, throw that movie out because these people are promoting that. I'm just saying it made me feel this way, which again, we're not talking. I mean, we talked about this in text message about how movies should make you feel, and it did make me feel. And just because it made me feel doesn't mean I automatically got to like this movie.
Wait, time out.
That is a great point.
But it made me feel. Yes, Eric.
This guy, Jeffrey Jones, you can't see him on the screen, but he's a character in the original Beetlejuice, this homie. Oh, you can't really see it.
Looks like a lot of white.
He's kind of a big piece of shit.
Yeah, he's...
Why?
He was like a true sexual predator.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's like funny when you... Not funny. Hold on. Pause. We've had this conversation before, like separating the art from the artist. And he is not an artist by any means in like the sense of being a big name in movies, but he's in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's in so many of those old classic movies. I forgot he was in the original Beetlejuice till I saw a TikTok of him. And yeah, it turns out he's a bastard.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry not to bring the mood down.
He's not a good human. How do we transition out of that?
Yeah, that was a
besides me calling him a big piece of shit. All that to say,
look at Josh cussing on the podcast.
What? This is just attack Josh, call Josh out, make him out to be a liar, gaslight Josh, and out him for his takes about Beetlejuice.
That is our MO.
Wait, okay, so then now that we called him out, why didn't you like Manchester by the Sea? This is the much more criminal offense between the two. I
agree. In my opinion, too.
Listen, just because I didn't like the way the movie made me feel doesn't mean that it's a bad movie.
You gave it a 1.
If I could give it a none, I would. Listen, there was nothing about that movie that I was like, I'm so glad I watched that. Like, I feel so good. Like, that was a good 2 hours of my life spent. I didn't feel that. I felt sad, and I felt sad for days after, and it really made me sad. And I don't like to be sad.
Best kind of movie.
We were talking. Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. I like things that make me feel good, not depressed for days on end.
And that's why it's a bad movie.
Yes. I never said it's a bad movie.
You just said yes. You just agreed when he said that's why it's a bad movie, and you said yes.
And you gave it a 1 star. I gave Beetlejuice a 3 stars, and maybe that was too high of me to give it a 3 star. But I didn't like it. I didn't give it a heart.
Oh, what do you mean?
So like on Letterboxd, you can give it a rating and you can also like it. So you could say Manchester by the Sea. And I'm not trying to tell you that this is what you need to do, by the way. This is just...
It sounds like you're mansplaining to me what I should do about my Letterboxd rating.
I'm going to just retract everything I'm saying then. And just say
Here's how you actually review movies.
This is what you should do. You should really add it to a 3-star and heart it.
Oh, that's the wrong button. Eric, how do you turn off your... Oh, there it is. I was trying to leave and end up taking a photo.
That's the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's usually Eric, the one just ghosting everyone. But
how do you do that? I want to know, just in case. You're not going to tell me.
Because then you accuse me of mansplaining if I tell you how to do it.
Eric, every single movie that I show him, he gets, when he shows me a movie, it's like, just listen.
I've never in my life have I shushed you.
No, you haven't. But you do want me to pay attention. He'll pause it, like if I'm like taking a sip of water the way Josh just did, and he'll pause the movie and he's like, "Are you ready now?" And I'm like, I was literally intaking off, like, okay. So he gets very frustrated with me. But anytime and then I'll ask a question and he's like, "You just have to watch the movie. You just have to watch the movie." But then when I show him a movie, the amount of questions that this man asks and is like so angry if I don't tell him, he was asking me about Serenity because I watched the first like 15 minutes of it, and he's asking me the entire time, "Well, who's that? Well, why are they mad? And who what's going on? What I don't like this. What's happening?" And I forgot the point of my story because I went off on a long tangent. But yeah, I forgot what I was
you
saying.
went off on such a tangent, just destroying my movie etiquette on the couch.
Because Manchester by the Sea was sad and depressing, and you didn't want to watch.
Do you see that I'm trying to avoid talking about it even?
Wait, hold on. Josh, why do you like it? I loved it, but now that we asked her why she hated it, which none of her answers were valid, Josh, tell us why you liked it.
I don't know if it's just like this theme. Maybe I should create a list of depressed Casey Affleck, but Casey Affleck in movies where he, like Our Friend, Manchester by the Sea specifically, he's just this sad man. I don't know. His acting's great.
A Ghost Story.
Is he always sad?
Oh, A Ghost Story. That was the third one. Is he always sad? I don't think so, but I think that he does that role very well.
A Ghost Story is so sad.
Yeah, and that's him. Although I thought it was Kesha under the sheet the whole time, but I think Eric and I talked about that.
Kesha?
Well, because do you
like
really
the
think?
Singer?
Yeah, because Eric said Kesha's in the movie Ghost Story, and I was like,
She is,
and I freaking knew it. She's the ghost. Because they're not gonna. You really think they're gonna have Casey Affleck walking around as a ghost? Turns out it's not. That's not Kesha.
Wait. Kesha is in A Ghost Story.
Yeah, she's in the movie. She's one of the friends that comes over to party.
He legitimately thought that it was the ghost.
Well, yeah,
Kesha was just haunting this couple.
That's like an artsy thing to do. It's like if someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Josh, Casey Affleck is gonna be in this movie, but he's very expensive to act underneath a sheet that you don't have any words," and they're like, "Josh, you want to do this?" And not to say that this sounds offensive to Kesha, but I'm just saying that if I was a different artist in a more famous role, I would say yes to that. I would say, yes, put me under the sheet. I will pretend to be Casey Affleck, who's pretending to be a ghost for 2 hours.
That's actually an extremely short movie. It's an hour and 29 minutes.
I'll do it for an hour and 29. Well,
sorry,
he's in it for what, 8 minutes? I'll do it for an hour and 20 minutes, 21 minutes. Anyways, Kesha's at the party.
Gotcha.
And Manchester by the Sea is visually, I thought, very good. And I was trying to watch it to remember because I haven't seen it in many years. So I was rewatching to get a little refresher, and I only got about 30 minutes in. But there's like more jokes than I thought at the beginning. Like, not that they were like jokes for this purpose of joking, like humor, like a comedy movie, but it was like some laughter through just life interactions that I thought, I don't remember it being that lively at the beginning.
Yeah, him and his nephew, like throughout the movie, just their relationship is just incredible. Like the way they dealt with the trauma together. Like obviously
the nephew is so funny.
Gosh, yeah, exactly. That's why it's a full movie, because you're not laughing because it's Will Ferrell comedy jokes. Some of it was kind of like,
oh,
what?
I took notes.
You liked it enough to take notes? How dare you give it a 1 star?
Wow. That's at
Okay,
least
no.
1.5 to 2
You
stars
told
if you
me.
took notes.
Okay. Okay, continue. Continue your thought. Finish your thought, and then I'll tell you what I have.
No, I was just agreeing with him on the comedy. Let's hear the notes.
Okay. I feel like my notes are like Josh's "The Summer I Turned Pretty" is just a bunch of like random statements. What does this mean? We are dressed. And then I put ha 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 ha. What is that? I don't even remember what that was.
When his wife comes downstairs and they're partying, she's like, "Shut the fuck up. It's 2 a.m. I got kids. Get them dressed and get out of here." And then she leaves and it's super quiet.
And he's like, "We are dressed."
Yeah. All hurt.
That was
See, it's funny.
Funny. Oh my gosh, that made me laugh so hard. I also thought it was cool that they like the wife and him after everyone left, they were like in cahoots with it, like to get them out of the house. I thought that was cool.
See, you did enjoy
real.
it. Very real.
Okay.
Very relatable.
Very demure.
Very demure. What does that word even mean? Okay, never mind. Don't answer.
No, don't do it.
Yeah, let's not go down that hole. Okay, I also have
Just say it.
The music when the house was burning was like the opening to Disney. Like I did not vibe with the music. Do you guys remember the music of when like the children are literally dying and the music is like doo-doo-doo. Like it was I was so uncomfortable. I was like, I can't even be in this 100% because this sounds like it's a small world after all.
Whoa, that's the perfect example.
It was so, but maybe it was like trying to be up. I don't know. I didn't like that. The music is like a huge thing for me in movies. So if it's like not it completely does the opposite effect and it takes me out of the moment. It was not.
That's
I didn't
fair.
like that. Yeah. Most of these things are like funny. When he said after he had the meeting with the lawyer and he realizes that he got custody of what is his name?
Lucas Hedges.
I don't remember his name in the movie.
That's the actor. His name is Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. After he got custody of Patrick and he leaves and he's like, "Where are we going? Are we going to the orphanage now?"
Oh my gosh. After we get the whole reveal of his kids dying and then you crack that joke.
Like, I'm literally like currently drinking my tears and he's all, "Are we going to the orphanage?" And I'm all, am I supposed to laugh? Like that was, it just like got sprinkled in there at the last moment. That was awful. Ugh.
See, that kind of stuff is what makes the movie so good. Like, we remember after that scene too, they can't find his car. He's stressed and he's pissed off. Lee is. And he's like, "Get in the damn car." Remember, he bumps into that random stranger and gets into it with him. And he tells Patrick, "Get in the damn car." And he goes around and Patrick's like trying to open the door. He's like, "I can't obey your orders till you unlock the car." Like when his like just like their relationship is so good. And the way that they, I don't know, maybe movies do this all the time, and they probably do, and I don't even know what it's called, but the flashbacks to Patrick being a young kid when the dad was alive on the boat, and they're joking and laughing and talking about sharks, and then boom, it cuts to Casey Affleck just depressed in the car. You know what I mean? I like those. I know that's like probably a common thing that happens in movies. I don't know how to describe it, but like they get you feeling this joy again just for a brief moment, and boom, they cut back to reality, which is life too. You're like, you have this moment or this memory or this thought or this interaction, and then boom, like reality hits you like a ton of bricks again. And the movie did that a couple of times, and a lot of it was on the boat. When he was like, and it was like a faraway shot. It wasn't anything close up. It wasn't anything dramatic, but they're like wrestling on the boat with him, like the brothers and their kid and his kid. And then boom, it cuts to like heartbreak. Joe Chandler.
I agree with Eric. Like that, there's probably the same reasons that I liked it. I just liked that it did move me back and forth and I had whiplash the whole time, which made it more engaging. And I like a sad story. Not because I like want to see sad people. Again, I know I was joking about it last night, but I do think that sad stories, like when life is happy and sad and up and down, watching movies that are similar makes me realize that we're not really alone. Like we don't have individual experiences of this life being very hard or difficult or very sad, or life's not happy all the time. Like I think sometimes it feels presented that way via social media or other people's lives or the internet. So watching these movies that are, again, like fictional or they're written for the screen, but yet they capture part of life that's like very more in line with like my reality of, oh yeah, life can be both good and like up and down at the same time, or we're going to move through these spaces emotionally joyful, sad, or both at the same time. And that's okay. Like that's just life and that's going to be a part of it. And so these movies are comforting in that way, not because I'm like, yes, let's watch depressing shit so that these characters like they deserve that. That's not what I mean. They don't deserve that, but
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
oh shoot.
Do you feel like you do well with grief, or that you do very bad with grief?
Um I think I do well in the sense that it's very easy for me to like sit in it. I do bad in the sense of like carving space for joy. In the same way that people carve space for it's hard for people to carve space for grief, but it's necessary. I think I have the inverse problem. So it's not that I do have a bad job of carving space for grief. I think I do a bad job of like I deal with grief so much that I often forget that I need to like move past it or set it aside. I'm like, I'm just gonna hang out here for 10 years
Hmm,
and just keep being sad, I guess. But that's what I mean by I don't think I do well with grief. Not because I avoid it, but because I sit in it maybe for too long. But
interesting.
I feel like maybe you can probably answer if I'm good at it. I feel like I'm really bad at handling grief. I get so angry. And the thing is too, it's like you'll talk to my nana. I love my nana so much, but we've experienced a lot of death in the family. Just like an unrealistic, unfair at times amount. But it's like for her and that generation, like, oh, it's part of life. It's part of life. Like I just time and time and time and time again since I was 12, it's like this is ridiculous. And it doesn't get better. And I feel like maybe someday I'll have that mindset of like that's life. But it's like ridiculous. So I get very angry and I don't process it well at all.
mm,
But I remember there was a time I realized I don't process it after it was a couple years ago. I think Paxton was like a baby. And we were with my parents talking, all of us, and Richard was over there and Kelly. We were all just hanging out talking. And my dad brought up my cousin Daniel dying when we were 12. We were talking about it, and I just burst into tears in front of everybody just at the table talking about it. Just lost it. And I was like, when I got home, I was like, that was weird. But as a kid, I never processed that grief appropriately. Like I remember a week later, I was at football two-a-days, and just like life just continued to move on, which it does. But no, I get super angry. I so bad that when Jordy was remodeling his house, our friend Jordy, a couple years ago when our close friend Angelo died, he was missing, and so Jordy and I were like demoing his floors, like, dude, this is crazy. I wonder if they find him. When they found out that didn't make it, I think Kelly and my dad conspired. They're like, hey, we need to go pick up Eric because by the time he hears this, he's gonna be so belligerent. Because I just lose it.
mm,
So, but at least I have a wife who knows because I just do not handle it well at all. I get super upset.
yeah,
I think I'm not an angry person ever, unless it's grief.
grief.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I don't want to ruin it too much, but I just watched Sing Sing, and
Ooh.
there's a line in there, so I don't think it really gives anything away. So I don't think it's sharing it's that bad. But they said something on because it's about theater in prison, and they said anger's easy to play. It's much harder, more
Mm.
difficult to play hurt. And I was just stuck on that for a long time because I think that part of it is like when I was in high school and in middle school, I was not good at grief. I was not good at processing. I would get angry a lot, which
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think I'm very angry anymore. Like I don't tend to get as angry, I don't think, nowadays, but I think it was really hard for me. I would get angry because it would be easier to get angry about relationships or about life than it was to actually be vulnerable enough to say, no, I'm actually hurt by this. Like I'm hurt,
Yeah.
whether it's by, like you're saying, losing loved ones, or if it's hurt, but like someone intentionally hurt me. It's a lot easier for people or for like anger to arise and ride that than to cut back or peel back layers and be vulnerable enough to say like, yes, I'm angry, but really I'm like hurt by this loss or I'm hurt by these things because I think especially if you're for myself, I think that machismo culture, it's
Oh, yeah.
you're being vulnerable and emotional, I don't think is as space isn't created for that as much as it's like be angry because a more of a masculine or manly thing to do. And so I think learning how to work through anger and then to recognize how hurt I was took a while. But then again, I think I can sit and being hurt for way too long. I'm like, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt. And then it's there, where's the healing in that? Or what am I doing to create space for joy, to, the whole inside out both and thing, right? Of joy and sadness can be at the same time. Or I think hurt and joy, or anger and joy, or grief and joy can be. I was joking in our I was texting about Manchester SC, and I was joking about the grief stuff, but I really do believe that, like, there's that this book, the I have to look it up, I'll put it in the show notes or something, but it said something along the lines that joy and grief are they're not different, they're not opposites, but they're the same coin. And I think I really believe that.
Baby, you tell me if I'm wrong on this too. It's funny that what you mentioned real quick, that starts showing so young, the anger, which really is sadness. Because like Paxton, he's 7. Someday he'll hear this and be sad that I talked about him, but it's as a kid. People who have kids, maybe they can relate to this too, who get really upset about something, but when you sit him down and talk to him about it after he cools off, he's sad or hurt because of XYZ. Like he's mad, doesn't want to brush his teeth, and I'm so mad at you guys, he tells us. Because what we try to do is tell him, like, all emotions are welcome. We've been trying this lately, but not all behaviors. So you can feel however you want, but like you. So when he's mad, doesn't want to brush his teeth. I'm so mad. And so we go to his room and he and I will talk, and then he starts to cry because he thinks something was unfair. But the initial reaction is like this, being upset and being angry. But then when we sit down with him, and because he's a kid, he hasn't, hopefully, learned to repress any emotions. He shares all his emotions. And as a kid, he's, at least we're trying not to teach him, like, hide it. We want him to share it. And, at some point, like, everybody grows up, and society kind of unfortunately shifts you to suppress things, but he'll share with us and he'll eventually start crying and tell us why he was upset. We can work through it with him. We hope that continues as he gets older. But it's interesting how that shows early, of like, which emotion, at the end of the day, even if he's quiet or this or that, at the end of the day, it was really, he was just sad and hurt by something that was said or that was done. And it displays itself differently than his initial reaction as they're younger. Like Ellie is just to cry. And we try really hard to, like, let them express that, because exactly like what you said happens is, like, eventually they just say, never mind, I won't show any emotion at all. I'll just be angry. So for him, at least, he's still angry, and then he gets sad, and we let him be sad. At least for now, that's how he's operating. But anyways, babe, what about you?
Honest, if I'm being like 100%, I've seen, like, ugh, I've seen Eric's family go through so much trauma and, like, handle it with such, like, grace. And I've watched how they handle stuff. And I think from the outside looking in, like, when I first came in and I started dating Eric, there were just instances that I wasn't as close with all of them, but I was still watching this, like, awful stuff happen. But, like, the way that they handle it is, like, I feel like the healthiest way that you could handle those situations. Like, they go through, like, all the stages together. So they go through, like, the anger, and then they go through the sadness, and then, like, you'll see them come together, and then they'll my favorite part, I know this sounds very dark and twisted, but my favorite part is when they start, like, sharing stories, and, like, funny stories about whether the person that has passed away. And, like, I don't know, I just really admire the way that they have handled everything that they have gone through. Which is, like, totally, I believe, like, not fair. But for me, I really don't know. I don't know. Ugh. I don't know how I handle grief. I don't know, it kind of scares me because I haven't had, like, my family is very, very, very small. Like, I'm not close to a lot of my family. So when stuff happens in, like, my extended family, I don't really know who they are. And I'm like, none of my immediate family, nothing has happened to them, God forbid, like, anything. But, like, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. In my childhood, I think I went through more trauma, and now I'm like, I don't know. And I've told Eric this before, like, that there's certain, like, places, and maybe this is complex PTSD, like we were talking about, but I feel like there are certain things that trigger memories for me. and I don't know, like, what happened there, but I've told Eric before, like, there's this Starbucks on, where is it?
Rio Grande and
It's Rio
I-40.
Grande and I-40, and something about that Starbucks, I don't know what happened there, I don't know, I could not tell you, but something every time I look at that Starbucks, I'm like, "Ugh,
Hmm.
ugh, ugh." And so I think I really block a lot of stuff out. So I don't know how I handle grief, and I think that's why this movie scared me so much. Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah, because it forces you to engage, and you don't like to. You suppress it or try to put it out of your memory, and
I
there's
do.
no way to not. And I know that the movies don't intend to do that, like Iron Claw. Like, they don't necessarily intend to make you feel about your personal life per se, like, but for me, it's impossible to not. Like, I remember watching Succession, business show. They There's a scene where, spoiler alert, the grandfather, media mogul, Logan Roy dies, and the siblings, it's a fractured family, but the siblings get the call, and it's pretty bad. They all react very bad. That scene, I've never seen a TV show or movie or any piece of media display that initial 15 to 20-minute chaos of a call of a loved one dying better than that show. I was
Hmm.
dying. I was crushed watching that because immediately I thought to like every situation, and the show may not intend to do that, and it's like a drama comedy, but oh my god, I was crushed. I've never seen anything, any kind of show or movie do it that well to where the call of like, what's happening? Is he alive? Is he breathing? Like that was just, oh my word. When I was watching that, I just like couldn't breathe because if you've experienced it, it forces it out of you. And so, babe, it's like, yeah, it's fair that you don't, because of the way you do it in real life. The movie gives you no choice. Again,
Yeah.
this is like house burned down trauma, like out of this world experience, but it doesn't matter because if you've experienced any kind of grief, the look on their face, the way they talk to each other, it brings it back. Like regardless of if you want it to or not. Like we stopped Iron Claw at a certain
Hmm.
point because it's like no, 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 no. Hmm. But it's
Yeah.
you. Not that we're gluttons for punishment, like you said, Josh. You're not like yes, evil happening. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
A
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit.
but it's
Well, I think there's maybe, at least for me, maybe it's something to do with like lack of control. Like in the same way that life, you can feel like we don't have control of life. With movies too, I didn't write it and I didn't create it. And so these things that happen out of my control, and maybe that's comforting too, to be, because again, I'm not sitting there being like, yes, burn down that house. Like I'm glad that, I'm not wishing for that. But I think it almost blurs the line between the realities of this fictional world and my own reality. And it's comforting to know that there are other people that don't have control in the same way that I feel like I don't have control, even in the things that aren't directly impacting my family or the people I know. Cause like, for example, like when I remember when I first watched Manchester by the Sea with the house burning down, when I was like 10, or it was in elementary school, we saw smoke and we rode our bikes to the smoke, and it was a house being burnt down. And I remember we were there before like the firefighters were there. And that movie like took me to that memory. And I remember watching it, and the next day we learned that someone was in there, and how sad. And I don't know who the people were. I don't know who lost their life that day or the family. But, and again, like I know there's different impacts when it is like, if that happened to my family, it would be a different form of grief. But that loss of life, and like watching this movie, it's like, oh, in this, like there are people out there who experience these things, like you were saying earlier, Kelly. It's like, this isn't fair. Like all the amount of grief and hardship that people, this isn't fair. And then all of a sudden you watch these movies where these characters are similar. It's for me, I'm like, how does that not just spill over into my own life? And how does that not like pull me in like Iron Claw? Like I am a brother, and there's this movie about brothers, and it's very sad, and there's a lot of grief. And that ending, I'm not going to ruin it necessarily for anybody, but that ending did bring in a bunch of identities of like that I hold. And it made me think about me losing those identities, right? Like my dad is a dad because me and my brother exist. I'm a brother because my brother exists. Like, what if those things didn't? And it's like, how do those things not come into play when you watch these movies? And so I don't know.
it's like we talked about on the episode with Drew, how there are some movies that just take you out of your world.
Right.
You love it, right? I know gosh, it's just because it's so fresh and it's this year, but Dune, like, goodness gracious, watching Dune 2 in theaters, just look, one of the best examples of this year that does that for you. And then there's other movies that just wreck you in the sense of like, like we're talking about here, that force you to relate, and doesn't have to necessarily, and it's not exact. Like you were talking about with when you were a kid, that house, it's not an exact representation, but it doesn't matter because it causes you to feel and to think. And again, so you can like movies for any of the reasons that they exist, but like you said, that personally for you, this is one that you like, and maybe it makes sense why it's not. These are not the style of movies that you like, right? And I know we joke with you about it, but it's totally fair because some people watch them to escape, some people watch them to laugh. But I think no matter what, the circle that we talked about in the text is like to feel whatever it is that you want to feel or are searching for feeling. A good movie is one that will make you feel, and you don't have to. Because it's so funny, we haven't been doing a lot of comedies lately because it's one of those things. I'm not trying to be weird, but like we talk. Okay, how do I say? I'm not trying to say this in any weird way. We're just gonna be. I think we are funny. And I know funny people, and like Kelly's really funny, and we are funny. Our newsletter's funny. People at work. So I don't know if that's why I don't necessarily crave funny in the screen. I don't know. I don't. Maybe that's wrong because I'm not like craving action and violence when I watch or murder when I'm watching a horror movie. But I don't really tend to pursue comedies.
Okay.
I have no idea. Maybe I just bunch of word vomit, a bunch of shit came out of my mouth. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I tend to gravitate towards these where it's like some kind of drama, trauma, violence, and murder. Like I was really excited watching The Shining. Like I don't know. So that's
I
weird.
was asleep
Let's
when
maybe
you watched it.
don't read into what I just said too much, everybody.
I still haven't seen The Shining.
Oh my god.
I'm still holding out.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you scared of watching it?
Oh,
Is that why?
1,000% scared. Yes.
If you can watch Longlegs, you can watch anything.
You think?
Yes.
I feel like my highest scary movies right now, Hereditary used to be the number one, and now I'm considering, because I have that scale, Happy Feet to Hereditary, but I'm thinking about changing it to like Tangled and Talk to Me, because Talk to Me just
Tangled?
Well, that's the lowest bar. Like it's a movie that's not scary at all, where it's like this is the scale. So Happy Feet isn't scary, but Hereditary is. There's a scale here.
Yeah, Tangled is great, by the way.
That's what I heard. I still haven't seen it, and I know I've gotten roasted on this podcast about it, and I know that's a theme.
It is wonderful.
Tangled is a really fun movie. That's Kelly's crush. Is the I don't even
Prince
know
Charming, Prince Steve,
Flynn Rider.
Oh, Flynn Rider. I was close.
Flynn Rider.
Close.
But
hey, like the comment in the chat if you like it when we all come close to crying on the podcast.
I was full on crying. I don't know.
I didn't want to call you out, but I'm like, comment in the chat below if you like tears.
Ugh. See, I don't even talk about it. It's not even my grief I'm talking about. I'm done for.
Well,
I feel like I don't handle it.
I'm proud of you watching Manchester by the Sea, but I think I have a lot more. You've made me think a lot about this stuff because I was like, wait, am I confusing just sitting in sadness with grief? And so I'm trying to figure out. Anyways, I need to think more about all that.
It makes sense though. You saying that you like to you think you sit in it too long. It kind of makes sense why you feel good watching those movies because it's like it's almost validating.
That's a good point. The whole like often being misunderstood and unseen and the validation, that's maybe a good word for that.
Do you do that with music too or just movies?
I like some sad music, but I wouldn't say like I go through waves with music, I guess. Listen to a lot of film score for whatever reasons, reading and writing, but I've been listening to a lot of Wallows, Dominic Fike, Role Model. I don't know if any of those constitute as sad music necessarily, but do y'all do that with music? Do you like happy, uppity music?
Well, no, I like it depends on my mood. If I'm happy, I'll listen to happy music. If I'm sad, I really enjoy listening to sad music. Eric can tell my mood by what song I'm listening to.
So music, yes. Movies, no.
Yeah, I guess. That's very true.
That's interesting. I like that.
That is interesting.
Maybe it's something to do with the visuals. Like you're saying, you see a Starbucks, it takes you back versus music. Maybe just your experience with it is different.
That's true. Maybe I just can't handle it visually. It's too much.
I love doing that with music. It's weird. Sometimes like if I'm at the gym or doing something, I'll like very specifically pick songs that I know, and they're not sad. A lot of them, like even there's a hardcore song by Knocked Loose that the lyrics just like it's about like I watched an interview with the singer who wrote the album talking about loss of a family member and why he wrote one of those songs, and I was like, "Oh, let's go, baby." And I just have that song on repeat all the time. It's a hardcore song, but the lyrics and there's certain parts I just freaking love, and it gets me in this mood. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
weird. Anyways.
But I know you have a hard stop. I just realized the time. But
Yeah. So
well, I want to say one thing before Eric, you close or whatever, because we didn't get to new to streaming. But I did want to mention Boy and the Heron, Max, September 6th. That was the movie where Robert Pattinson absolutely crushes voice acting as the Heron on the dubbed version, because it's originally in Japanese, and the American dubbed version, Robert Pattinson absolutely crushes his role.
and then also we have to do the Penguin. Penguin September 19th on Max. No,
Oh,
not
that's
Max, on
right.
HBO in this
The
house we
limited
call HBO.
series. Yeah.
There's quite a bit this month actually.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Civil War's on September 13th on Max. Uglies is on September 13th on Netflix. Grave of the Fireflies, dude. That's another, Studio Ghibli. The people who made Boy and the Heron, September 16th, and I hear it's the saddest shit ever, and I'm gonna watch it
okay.
on Max.
Is that movie with Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh straight to streaming, or is that going to theaters? That We Live in Time?
I hope it's in theaters. I wanna watch it in theaters. October 11th
Oh, that's not even
in
this month.
theatrical release.
Brutal. Okay, never mind. I was getting ahead of myself. The next episode that you guys can all tune into is tell us about it, y'all. Babe, why don't you tell us about it? It's a Medium Project one.
Oh,
Oh,
is that the
well,
next one?
before that, we're gonna do this one, and then there's gonna be a episode that explains more about the Medium Project. We have another channel that we originally, the Living a Stream and a Medium Project had separate channels, but now we're putting everything under Sweet and Condensed. We're gonna re-release a why the Medium Project that gives more context, because I know we mentioned it very shortly in these episodes about what the Medium Project is, but that goes more into depth with Sarah Warland and myself discussing why the Medium Project and the art of adaptation and how we got there. But the episode after that is going to be It Ends With Us. Kelly led the vanguard on this whole venture by making a bet that she thought that I would not be able to do. She was like, this is an unbeatable challenge. This is setting Josh up for failure. Read this book in like 27 hours and I will run 50 miles. No, it was like 3 miles with you. And I did it. And that has led to watching the movie, and now we're going to do an adaptation on It Ends With Us and the movie and the book. Kelly, do you have any thoughts or anything to add to this excitement?
I am so excited. This bet it will go more in depth. Who knows if Eric's going to be on this podcast, because
That's also true.
I gave him the same bet and he did not do it. He's on page 12. So we'll see if he reads it by then. And he still has not seen the movie. So he has a lot to do if he wants to be on the podcast. Sarah is going to be on the podcast, and we're hoping that Drew is on it too, because it'd be really fun to have all of us. It's going to be chaos if that's true, and nothing but us roasting Drew, probably.
We're very excited.
Wait, also, I have one more thing to say.
Let's hear it.
On record, that Serenity is Josh and Eric's new favorite movie.
Excuse me?
That is the worst Matthew McConaughey movie ever made. For anyone who doesn't know, don't watch Serenity. It's about a man who dies and his son is dealing with grief. And I'm gonna call him out on it in the worst way
Sounds on
possible.
track for you guys.
He computer programs a video game where his dad has sex with random women. That's what the movie is about. Okay? Matthew McConaughey is a video game character who sleeps around, and he's programmed by his son.
Oh my goodness. I only got to the part where you caught that big old, or tried to catch that giant fish at the beginning, and it was the most.
That's literally the first 2 minutes.
It's like, what am I? He pulls out a knife and he threatens a tourist, and they're just slamming beers, and they're like, I'm not going to pay you cash anymore. It was just.
That's all part of his son's story that he programmed into the game, Josh. How shitty is that?
Oh, man. It was. Yeah, I don't know what was happening. I can't tell you full thoughts on it because I only got to 10 minutes of the movie.
Real quick, subscribe to the newsletter. What is it called? What's our newsletter called, guys? Sweet and Condensed. We talk a lot of smack. This week's was Beetlejuice. Next week is Josh is really looking forward to it. It's called Speak No Evil, and they've done zero marketing for this movie. There's no trailers anywhere. It's like I'm
There's no
kidding. It's
trailer?
literally there's trailers in my banking apps.
The one reason why my banking apps, I pull out TikTok, pull up banking apps, Wells Fargo, trailer, preview. It's very true. I'm on public buses, dude. There's billboards with the trailer playing.
Is this the one that is like the
Yes, we're in the trailer.
It is the one thing that I loathe that I have to watch this. The producers are complete a-holes for this. The fact that y'all aren't going to go watch this. But the thing that excites me to watch this movie on Thursday is the fact that I will never have to watch that trailer before every single movie, every week, every preview since January. No, it wasn't that long.
Straight up since spring though. The first trailer, I swear it was Dune.
Just watch Dune in IMAX. Just Speak No Evil on the biggest and loudest screen possible. Oh.
Wait, is this the remake of an original?
Yeah, that came out 2 years ago.
Like literally, they were making this movie as the remake was in or as the original was in theaters.
Are you being dramatic or are you being so for real?
So serious.
It's a foreign film, and so maybe that's why they're like, oh yeah, we can do this in 2 years. And weirdly enough, I've read that they're both incredibly good and they have different endings or different
I love
something.
That.
So I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, because usually remakes are just trash. Like one of them's better or one of them's worse, right? Like
this one?
Like Dune, for example. The original Dune's kind of interesting versus the newer one. But anyways, yes.
We're excited to hear how it is.
That's
Josh,
the scorecard at a glance. How much it made us think, laugh, cry, anxious, all the good things. Is it worth the price of admission to see it on the screen? That's coming out this week, as well as takes and movies that should be on the watch list or that are on our watch lists.
Woot woot.
Okay. Thank you all for listening. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Support us. Send Eric money. Send us money.
Hey, we didn't have any technical difficulties, guys. 3 cheers, like and subscribe and share for no technical difficulties today.
Peace.
Bezos.